Animated bone parenting is a new feature in Anime Studio Pro 11, and it's a great time saver. Let me show you an example. I have here an old animation made in a previous version of Anime Studio. If I play it out, you're going to see that the farmer hands over his goods, but then the guy wants more, so he gives up his arm, and then eventually his leg. This was made for a commercial, and it's meant to be simple and cute, but essentially, what we had to do here in the previous version of Anime Studio is if I go in here to this scene and go into the farmer, you'll see we had to do a little bit of trickery behind the scenes. If I back up here to when he takes his arm off, so right about there, you can see it really snaps right there. That's when it comes off. Look at my layers panel. You'll see I have two hidden layers, torn leg and then torn arm. And then we have back leg and back arm, and those are visible. So on the next frame, you can see now that back arm is hidden, torn arm is visible. The reason for this is because back arm, if I go back and I use my transform bone tool, is still linked to that arm. Then the next frame, if we move the bone now, you can see that since that back arm is hidden, this new torn arm is actually not linked to those bones. It's independent. So that's how we were able to pull this off. But with the new animated bone parenting, this is no longer an issue. Let me show you why. I'm going to just delete the torn arm completely from the layers panel. I'll come down here, click, and then choose the trash can. So now, I also need to re-enable the visibility of the back arm. I can double click on it, come over here, choose visible, and then click apply. So now, it's going to look a little bit messed up because it wasn't meant to operate this way. As you can see, we have some things kind of occurring where we have the sleeve and the arm doing this. But my focus here is after it falls into the basket, when the farmer moves again, you can see it happens right here. The arms move along with him. And that's because this bone's moving and this bone is linked to that bone and this arm is linked to that bone. So you're going to have the hierarchy come into play and it's going to move your bones around when you don't want them to. But now, if I were to reintroduce bone parenting here, come in like this, and let's say right about here, I want to now, in Anime Studio 11, since we can now do this, scroll back up. I'm going to click on the farmer, and I'm going to detach the arm bone from the torso bone. So let's click on that arm bone, choose to reparent, but now I'm going to click off. You'll see we have a new keyframe that appears right down here, the reparent bone tool channel. And this is indicating that there is a change now with that bone. Something is being reparented halfway through the animation. Now, if I continue on here, you're going to see some movement, and that's because this bone right now is moving independently, as you can see, and we have the arm still attached to that bone. So if I come down here just to demonstrate, I'm going to remove all these keyframes right here for that bone. Just remove them like that. And let me just come over, make sure there's no more other keyframes that could be potentially messing with this. And I think we're okay. So now, as you can see, the body can move any way it wants, but these arm pieces are not moving along with it. And now in this case, when it comes to the actual arm animation, I could go into the arm itself. And you can see now we have some issues occurring just with how it comes up like this. And that has to do with the fact that I have all these different channels. So I could go in there and try to rearrange that so this makes sense. But the focus here is the fact now that I can reparent these layers halfway through without any issue. If you'd like more information on Anime Studio or more tutorials, visit anime.smithmicro.com.